All right, welcome everyone. This is the statistics orientation, and here's our little agenda. Just four bullet items. We're going to start off with our intro slash attendance, and this will probably be the only time we actually do take attendance. It's usually just during the first week, and after that, there is no attendance. And we're only taking attendance so that if there are any no-shows or people who did not even participate in Canvas or reach out to me, I can let the dean office know, and then they will probably drop those students so that they don't get billed or charged and all that stuff. And so that's what we're going to start off with. And we don't have like an official attendance slip, but the way we'll do our attendance is I'll just kind of look at the introductions that you guys should have started to post on. In this particular class, so I have two stats classes, and in this class, I can already see there's been a lot of activity going on in there. And so here we do have some intros. It's going to be a lot of prereq nursing majors. Bryn is here. Basketball player, soccer, good. That's from Alaska. All right, welcome. Next, we have Malik. Again, nursing. Ah, there's a pattern there. Paige is here. Hi, everyone. Paige. I do read these. I'm going to gloss through these really quickly tonight, but it's for us all to read and just to know who we're in class with. I do support you guys communicating with each other. One of the links that is activated is the people link inside of Canvas, to where you can just see the names, the faces, and I want us to be able to be a resource for each other. Like if one person gets stuck in a problem and you want to discuss it or talk about it or share like something about it, or maybe there was a problem with one of the exercises that you want to share out and alert people to, it'd be good to just start that collaboration. And it all kind of starts right here during the introduction. So thanks for doing this. We got Paige, Jasmine, Alina, Ella, Angel, Aiden, quite a lot. Kayla. Okay. Well, we have some running start students. This is good. Cheryl, Lainey, Kennard. It's a tough name. No, it's not too bad. Running start from Snohomish. All right. Jacinta. Thanks for the phonetic spell out on that. Yeah, that was not obvious. We have Fatu. All right, let's see. Hold on now. Okay. Wow. We're packed. Thanks, guys, for all signing up. We got even two pages. And if you did not see your name and you did one, it's probably because you're in my other class. So let's just double check that other class real quick as well. And we have a gang inside here as well. Paneet, Nathan, Jenny. This is good. Hind, pronounce her. Okay, perfect. Fatima. We have Khalees. Wonderful. This is good. Very good. Excellent. Sasha, Michaela. Good. Michaela, okay. So- Okay. Excellent, guys. Awesome. This is and I'll spend more time going through these. If you have not yet did your intro, go on and do that. Drop a sentence or two, and that'd be awesome. I do want to quickly introduce myself. I'm Professor Thomas. I am in the process of getting my doctorate. Hasn't happened just yet, but I'm months away. I'm supposed to be graduating in June, but I have to defend in the winter, springtime, and then once I defend successfully, I'll get that doctorate and officially go by Dr. Thomas. And for some reason, there's not. I used to have like a page, an intro page. Let me see if I can find it. There's no link to it, but it does exist somewhere. Um, okay, yeah, it's right here. I actually so I just hit my 10-year anniversary at the college. I got a certificate, 10 years of service certificate, which meant a lot. I mean, it was just nice to see. I mean, it was pretty plain and basic, a certificate, but if you think about the time and the years behind it, so I used to teach on campus. Now I'm virtually, that's all I request. And they don't, that's all they give me now, which is really good and convenient. But I started out in about 2015. I started like at night. I usually had taught like the night classes. I would do pre-calc and all this stuff. And then eventually, after about 3 or 4 years, I got into stats. And I just kind of stayed into stats. That's kind of what I wanted. Then I got into some hybrid and now fully online. So I'm just thankful that they're trusting me with the online classes. And my students, you need to know this, my students do very well. Um, I know a lot of nurses, as you would imagine, especially at the Providence Hospital. And I remember teaching, I used to teach a lot in Baker Hall, um, and a lot of people from Boeing might know me as well from, the calculus, business calculus, pre-calculus, and all that stuff, trig courses, and all that jazz. I'm also currently in the IT department as well. I'm not teaching any IT department classes this quarter, but hopefully next quarter and hopefully the spring I will get some IT courses because I just like courses and um, my background is in data science, cybersecurity, educational leadership. I'm a teacher by profession. Just finished my 25th year of teaching as well. So I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran. Um, Not much to it. I'm just happy to be here. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Let's look at the poll. We should have some results. Um, let's see. There was a poll on Zoom going around. We got a nice little sample size, 11 people. Um, so 100 out of the 100% out of all the people who surveyed, well, actually it was 91%, 10 out of 11. Have you took an online class before? Everyone did. So that's good that you guys obviously prefer, or not prefer, but like online classes. Do you like math? That was the right answer. But a lot of people said not sure, really. I like the honesty though. Have you had other math classes here at UCC? And we're torn. We're about 50-50. And if you do have any questions, you can feel free to unmute or place in the chat. I'll be monitoring my chat, and so I can respond to you guys. So if you happen to have any questions whatsoever, anyway, let's get going. All right. Um, yeah, this is going to be a very special quarter. So I'm really looking forward to helping you guys all get through this. Um, I think we can achieve 90% across the board, which I may have already achieved that. Like I said, I don't kid around when I say my students do well. We've had averages of upwards of 88, 89, 90% average in the class. All right. Um, and I think it's just because we get motivated. Some people sometimes just feel like, you know what, this is too much for me right now. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to take you next quarter. Can I withdraw? Will this affect my GPA? There's things that can happen. If you find yourself in a situation where things are looking kind of bleak or frustrating, just talk to me about it, and we can figure it out. There's always a solution. Nothing is impossible, and we're going to get through this. And this class, this is a huge gateway class. Once stats is out of the way, it can enable you to take so many other things. It may even satisfy your math requirement. So, um, good, good, good. I'm so glad you guys are here. We're going to jump into the syllabus, and inside the syllabus, there's also the calendar. And so we get to do the two birds with one stone. Now, there is actually a couple of ways that one could access the syllabus. There is the syllabus that is the syllabus link. So if you were to click that syllabus link, it's a page that's dedicated to the syllabus. And it's all written out. This is kind of an older video, but I kind of explain how to access the course and Pearson and stuff like that. But you could read through this. I got the hyperlink to the hard copy of the syllabus, so it's digital, but you could print it out. If you just click on that, you will get this. And this is that syllabus. Okay. This is the syllabus, and we're gonna skim through this. So I'm gonna zoom in on this. Um, I'll just kind of go through some of the most important parts. We are fully online, so we do not officially meet throughout the quarter. There is two sessions that will be scheduled, study sessions, approximately a week before the midterm and approximately a week before the final exam. But those are optional and they will be recorded and shared out as needed. If no one shows, I may just run an older video that where I did the exact same thing with another class because the tests are still the same as they were in the past as well. So we we don't officially meet as a class. However, I do hold office hours. I just put in these times, but the truth is, I'm willing to meet anytime, even on the weekends, if on a need basis, if our schedules meet, the meeting will take place over Zoom. I'm never on campus. I have a nice office. I think last time I was in there, I'm the only one in the office, which is kind of rare. Um, I need to go up to the office and check if I'm still the only one in the office, but I just never go in there. Voicemail, I can get voicemail. The voicemails go to my email. I put cell phone, that doesn't happen anymore. But if you do leave a voicemail, I get an email of it, and I can actually just play the voicemail through my email, and I can hear it and get it. Other than that, I wouldn't be in my office to answer the phone. Um, I think my best way to contact me, I would say, would be through Canvas. And the reason why I say Canvas is because then I actually get an email message. When you message me in Canvas, I also get an email message of it as well as a Canvas message. And I'm always on the Canvas app. And so I'm able to respond a little faster when you message me in that way. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Sometimes I know a lot of people will just email me. Um, that can work, but it could also get buried. So if you don't hear from me after messaging me and reaching out, just message me again. I probably will definitely get it by the second time around. Other than that, everything is pretty straightforward. Let's see, we got yeah, so there the books and materials. So what we do is we actually have an ebook, and I will show when we go inside Canvas. I will show where that ebook is located. But also, there's something called a Pearson access code, the MyLab Statistics Access through Pearson. This has to be purchased so that we can get access to Pearson, and that's where the homework problems come through. And also the other ebook, there's another version of the ebook and other resources and videos that shares how to do certain problems and test review questions and whatnot. So there's a lot of benefit for working on that. So that's going to be good. All right. Any questions so far before we get going? Um, there was a question about does the stats at EFCC meet the high school graduation pathway? You might want to double check with your counselor about that, but it should be worth a credit, a full, which is worth a full year's worth of work. But double check on that. I don't see why it wouldn't. I know there's a course in high school called AP Statistics. AP Statistics would give you credit for this course. Um, so if you've taken AP Statistics and then you took the AP exam and you got a 3 or higher, you shouldn't have to take this course. I do know that. So the other way around might be true as well. So this course is equivalent to an advanced placement high school statistics course. They're pretty much the same, um, except they just have to do a big test at the end, and we don't. All right, so we're probably a little bit easier than them. All right, it's not as high stake. We just have to stay locked in. But I shouldn't say easier. I don't think you can compare them in that way. But it's just a different course, slightly different, but same thing. And like I said, statistics is like spaghetti. And my analogy is, let's see if I can make this make sense. Everybody has their own spin on it, right? You can go to one house to another house, and everybody kind of has their own style of spaghetti. And the same is true for statistics. Statistics is that course where, from book to book, they can be vastly different experiences and the way the material is presented. Because a lot of people like to put their own spin on stats. But there are some things that are always kind of, they're all linked together and kind of overlap. But oftentimes, there's always variation from stats to stats. And let's move on. Let's look at the next page. Guidelines and expectation, how to be successful, um, be resourceful. And I don't know if I put in here anything about time management, but that should definitely be in here. Plan on working hard in the beginning as to get off to a nice strong start as the pace is fast. But usually after the first quiz, the pace will slow down. And then after we take that midterm, that pace starts to pick back up again. So from the first week, we are, work hard in the beginning. As far as late work, it is not an issue. I want to be very clear here. Um, You can work on the homework assignments after the due date for no late penalty. Now, the homeworks do have a due date, and I know this is a little ambiguous, and a lot of people freak out about that, especially if they never watch or listen to this orientation video. They just skipped over it, because I clearly say in this video that the homeworks can be worked on after the due date. Now, sometimes people will ask permission and say, hey, can you unlock this homework assignment for me? Can I get an extension on my homework? I just say, hey, absolutely, of course. And after that, nothing happens. I go on about my day and they go on about theirs. Now you have to know how to activate. You have to know that you can actually work on the homeworks afterwards, after that due date. And also the homeworks have unlimited attempts. I don't know how that all works. I know sometimes if there's a multiple choice question, there's only so many times you can do a multiple choice question before you can just get it right. But you can work on those homeworks um, and get extra attempts. And so I encourage you to do that. You want your homework grade to be solid and nice and strong in here. Okay. Um, what one last thing I should say, and I got to be very clear about this. The homeworks, they actually close out during the final week of class. And it shouldn't, you shouldn't even have to wait this long to do them. But the day before the final exam is released, all the homeworks are finalized. I do not have the homeworks open the same time the final exam is open. Okay. I just don't. I don't. And there's no need really either. There are some people that say, hey, you said I could work on that to do. So I saved it to the very end. Um, yeah, but at some point there is a cutoff, and the cutoff is the day before the final exam opens. It has to be complete by then. So hopefully you don't fall in that category, but you can work on them after the due date up until a point. All right, I'll just leave it like that. Um, Important dates, that's all on the website. Hopefully the links are not broken, but you can click on that link and you should be able to get there. Let me show you a little bit now how everything is graded. The homework is 25% of your grade. Two of your lowest homework scores will not count. So I remove your lowest two homework scores. If there were homeworks that you did not do, I'm going to subtract those two of them out of it. So don't even worry about it. Quizzes. There will be four quizzes. The quizzes will count for 25% of your grade. I allow you to drop your lowest quiz grade. Okay. The thing about the quiz grades are the quizzes actually do have a due date. They stay open. They're online. You take everything is done online in here. The midterm, the final, the quizzes, the homeworks, fully online. You don't have to come in person, and you don't have to be on some intrusive video while you take your tests. I don't do that. That's very uncomfortable. I didn't like it when I was a student doing it, and I don't perpetuate that in my own class. It's just not my policy. Um, but the quizzes will stay open for about 5 days. I don't extend the first quiz past that because I want to get the data. I want to see how you guys did on the very first quiz. So if that quiz closes out and you did not take it and it was open for 5 days, and by the way, I should tell you, everyone gets 3 attempts at the quizzes. A lot of people they don't even use their 3 attempts because they wait too late to take it. Um, but you do get 3 attempts, and your highest attempt is the one that counts. The system automatically does that. So there's no, like, if you were to get an 80 on a quiz, I would recommend you do it again. Study a little bit more, maybe find out some of the things you missed, and just retake it again. Um, you'll probably get a little bit higher the second time around. And the reason why I do this is I just feel like students learn it better. And that's what this is all about. That's the big picture. This is not a aha, I gotcha class, right? This is let me do the best I can. If I'm a kind of person that aspires to an A, I want to see you work for it. I want to enable you to go for it. if math is your thing or not. Okay. So I want you to have a breakthrough in here. I do not want you to feel anxious or any type of grief or feelings about your performance in here. So I'm going to work with you. And I'm also going to share all the resources that I have set up for you to be successful. All right. Um, so yeah, the quizzes, the lowest quiz grade will be omitted. So your top three quiz grades will count for 25% of your overall grade. Now, if you do miss that first quiz, my natural response will probably be just let that quiz be your drop because everyone's allowed to drop your lowest one. That's usually my go-to response when students miss the first one. The problem is the first one is the easiest one, I would think. Um, you don't want to miss that first one. Now, if you've nailed the first three and then you're like, all right, I got one more quiz, but I get to drop one. Do I even have to take the fourth one? I would say yes. Take it. Um, it's going to prepare you for the other exams coming up, and it won't hurt, even if you've already done great on the first three. And you might even do even better on the last one as well. We do have the midterm scheduled. It's scheduled for Wednesday. Now, I put this date in here, but the fact of the matter is it's open for 48 hours. The midterm opens Wednesday morning and it closes Thursday night. You don't have to take it Wednesday between this time. It's fine if you do, but you don't have to. You actually get 48 hours to take it. And it's just a one-shot deal. Um, I will give out a practice midterm. The practice midterm does not count for a grade, but it is just there to practice. There's more problems on the practice. There might be like 50 or 60 problems on the practice midterm. And sometimes I pull those questions from there. I take some of those questions. I might even put it on the actual final, on the actual exam. But the midterm exam is 25% of your grade. And then the final exam, we do the same thing. A week before that, I will give out a practice final. It will be an online practice test. All right. You don't have to do it. It's not being graded. I don't really monitor it. When we schedule our study sessions, we do go over those documents. We talk about it. We look over the answers. Sometimes we print them out and put them in our notes because that could help us when we're taking the tests, maybe. And the final is comprehensive, but the majority of the problems come from the second half of the course. After the midterm is the halfway point, and so the final will, come like that. It's about 20 questions or so. The grading scale is here, pretty straightforward. Um, there was a question coming in about are the exams open? No, yes, absolutely. It's open. The whole course is open. So there's really no way to cheat, right? Okay, wait. So we have your grade will be comprised of homework, quizzes, midterm, and final, all 25% each. And our grading scale is set up like this. I've done away with the B minus and the C minus and the D minus. So, and there is an A minus. Okay, and I actually do round grades. If you've gotten 89.2, for example, um, I would round that all the way up to 90. Now, remember, 89.5 is closer to 90 than it is 89. And it's debatable, but 89.5, everyone pretty much rounds that up to 90. But I'm thinking that if you are only two or three or four tenths away from the next critical numerical grade, I'm more than likely probably going to round at the end, and you'll probably end up with an A minus. Okay. It only happens in the 89, 79, 69, 59 range. Okay. Or sometimes what I could do is go back, regrade some of your assignments and kind of look through, see, okay, is there a point, is there a partial credit point that I could give them somewhere? Okay. Um, there is a question that came in about, are all the quizzes and exams online? Yes, they are all online and they're timed. I'm pretty generous with time. Time usually has not been a problem. Um, I don't I don't want to put time pressure on you. So if you set aside a good amount of time, you will have enough time to do the problems. And I would take feedback if you feel as though you could benefit from a little bit more time on another attempt. I would be willing to accommodate you on that. I don't see a problem in that. Okay. So the time it is timed, but it's not going to be an issue. You'll be able to take your time. Here is the tentative kind of schedule. Obviously, you can work at your own pace. It's a Wednesday, Friday cycle, but however, you could think of this as Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday. It's just two separate days, and this is just kind of the pacing guide per week of where you should be at around approximately. So quiz one will open up next week, Friday, and it will stay all the way open until October 9th. I'm pretty sure the first quiz will stay open for that long period of time. And quiz one will only be on chapters one and two. Okay. That's the sections that it's going to be on. And so then, and when I put these little sections in here, these are the required sections of the course. We don't go over every single section, like 2.3 isn't here, 2.5 isn't, but in chapter 2, we're only responsible for 2.1, 2.2, and 2.4. That's the way this works. Quiz 2 is going to open up on the 17th, as well as the practice midterm exam is going to open. The practice midterm does not count. Quiz 2 does count. Quiz 2 will be based on chapters 3 and 4, but not 5. 5 will be on the midterm, as well as 1, 2, and 3. Okay. There is a review day scheduled for October 24th. It's tentative. It could very well be a Thursday instead. I'll let you know. But this could potentially be the day where we do a Zoom call and we go over practice problems and any other problems that come up. Okay. Then you got that midterm exam, which will be open for 48 hours. It's going to be open for 2 days. Okay. Quiz three, quiz four, and then we have some final toward the end. There's just nothing left except review, prepare, and then the final exam will be due the 12th. It will probably open up on the 11th, which means everything, all the homework assignments will close on the 10th, a day before the final exam opens. Okay. Um, so there's our calendar. Let me see anything else that might be beneficial. I think we just covered it all pretty well there. Um, and again, here is the syllabus that's in Canvas. We even have the assignments here, their due dates and whatnot. Um, so it's all good there, good info. There's even something called a simple syllabus. the university or the college has the copy of our simple syllabus, which is just another version of our syllabus. So it's here, and they can download it and stuff. It's pretty much all saying the same thing, more or less the same stuff. Okay, so we have that. All right. So we're going to get into let me pull up our agenda again for tonight. Um, we're going to get now into Canvas and Access Pearson, the Pearson Access Pass. But first, let's get into Canvas. So everything is pretty much set up here. Um, the modules are here. You can access them. You could also just go into modules to get stuff. Files, let me double check files. Files, I do have a hard copy of the calendar, the syllabus, and the book. A PDF version of the book. It's 54 megabytes, pretty big. Um, I can show you another location where that is. In the Start Here module, which is the About course, if you scroll down, if you click on this picture, the book will download. It's the fifth edition, which is still pretty good. I think they're up to the sixth or even seventh edition now. But they don't change much. Um, this works. Okay, you could click on that and it would download the PDF, which is the same PDF that's in the files. The next thing I added in the About course was this netiquette piece, just respecting our online space, be aware of what you type. Like if you write something in discussions or whatever. The other piece, we got the intros, which a lot of people did a really good job on that. You don't have to respond to this, but some of you guys did. Oh wow, okay, this is good. I'm so glad some of you guys did do this. This is good stuff. I love this video, and this is all based on research. It is a way to strengthen your mind. And if you watch these videos and answer these questions, it can help you in a lot of ways. So it's good that you guys jump started on that. Look, Khalees did that. It's a superstar. And then we get into how do you actually register for Pearson? Um, the well, before I talk about Pearson, one more thing. This is where all the juicy stuff is. If you go into discussions, I actually put a lot of resources in discussions. The lecture videos by chapter, and they're nothing special. I will admit. This links to my YouTube channel, so you guys can like and subscribe to my channel. No, okay. Obviously I only have like 100 subscribers, so I'm obviously that's not my profession. Um, but the lecture videos are all here per chapter. Okay. Inside discussions, we also have helpful, random homework problems. And if you are struggling with a problem and you have a request and say, hey, I'm stuck on this, can you make a video or explain this? I will probably be like, okay, you know what? I'll explain it. I'll make a video, I'll post it in here, and just watch that video and I'll break it down and explain it. I don't have a problem doing that. And we get to recycle these problems. Now, I will admit, some of the numbers might not match anymore because I have shuffled around some of the numbers, but the chapters are consistent and the sections are consistent. It's just that the actual problem number might not match the one that you have anymore. But some of my homework problems start from chapter 3. So, yeah, I was when I look at this, I'm like, wait a minute. So nobody had any questions in chapter one and two, or or you could think of this as okay, it's in chapter three where it starts to get a little tricky. So we got some videos from chapter three, four, six, seven, something in eight, and then after that, no nine or 10 or 11 or anything like that. But inside these videos, I do several different problems, and um, so that's a resource. We also have our classroom notes by chapter. So you can print these out, download them, write on them, do as you wish. Um, there is student solution manual. We have all the PowerPoints. We even have the graphing calculator tech tutorial video. So if you happen to have a graphing calculator, which I didn't talk about, um, nowadays though, a lot of people aren't even using the graphing calculator. They're either using online or StatCrunch. And StatCrunch comes with the Pearson Access Pass. Um, so StatCrunch is a thing. Now, if you do happen to have a TI-84 and you should be starting to feel kind of old. No, I'm just kidding. That was a bad joke. Um, no, the TI-84s are still relevant. And you could definitely use them in here. And this is a video that kind of shows some of the commands. And I actually have a TI-84 as well that I use for my intro videos. Let me see if I can start that. There it is. It is, yeah. So if you have a TI-84, it looks something like this. And the truth is you only really use about two or three different buttons in stats the whole time. The stat button, and more importantly, the second vars, which is the distributed button right there. That's another popular one. This one's probably more important. Second, distribute. This menu is key. You can use normal PDF, normal CDF, inverse norm, inverse T, you know, the T PDF, T's cumulative density function for the standard student distribution, the chi-squared and all that jazz. Um, there's all sorts of things there that we will be looking at, okay? But inside stats is the tests. Sometimes you have to run certain statistical tests to get results, to collect evidence, to make, a conclusion based on the evidence that, hey, based on my data, the average is not, it's not possible that the average could be this, or based on the data, it is likely that, this observation or hypothesis is true. So we'll get into that. All right. After the midterm, we get into the inferential statistics where we use data to form hypotheses and things like that, and conclusions and things of that sort. Um, so that's there. I'll close that out. But StatCrunch is even probably one could argue that it's even a little bit more powerful. I will also say there is some other, I mean, those aren't the only, you know, game in town. There are other resources. Like here's a link, it's called additional resources. Um, here's my a link to my whole playlist on my YouTube playlist. Is it? Or is it? Oh wait, no, it's not mine. Okay, it's not mine, but this playlist is based on material from our course. So it's kind of rare to when you search for something to actually find the exact thing that you're using, right? That's been a very frustrating thing with with Google in general, when you're trying to search for something and you have to find something that's similar, but it doesn't match it. Well, this we found and come to find out when we looked at it closer, the material matches our material exactly. And so for that reason, I've posted this. And the way they create their videos is I like this viewpoint. It's kind of like a first person type of viewpoint where you kind of see the pencil in the hand, and it's just a different style of recording. It is not the way I do my videos, but it is kind of neat to see this. So that's an additional resource. There's also this thing called Stats Blue, which is just a website. Like, let's say your thing broke down and froze out, and you want to come somewhere else and run data. Like, you can go in here, put in a bunch of data values, like who knows what. And then you could, oh, it's kind of large there, and it's 22, and then just hit um, data calculate. I'll put the bandwidth as 5, and it gives me so much stuff. Look at that. The mean, the deviations, both of them. All right. This is if the data is a sample, we'll use him. If the data is the entire population, we'll use him. The 5 number summary, which also gives us a box plot, a box and whisker plot, that you're right. And all of this stuff. So that's a good resource. And then here's my playlist. Okay. Let me see. Is my playlist even going to play? Yeah, it is. Chapter one. Most of my data lecture video. This lecture video is going to be based on chapter one, the
This
data
is pretty
collection
old, as
chapter.
you can see, 3 years old.
And we are going to be working out of the 6th edition of the Statistics Informed Decisions Using Data textbook. And this is for Professor Thomas's Math 146 Introduction to Statistics
Yeah, so this is my old page. I mean, hey, if you
course.
if you run across any psychic stuff, please don't judge me. I'm sorry. It's a thing. Um, so what else is here? I think I've covered it all. There's a lot of good resources and discussions. All right. That's all you need to know. Check it out. If you happen to have questions, ask questions, respond, reply, do what you got to do. Um, the other thing is inside Access Pearson. So in Canvas, you can get to Access Pearson. Another way to get to Access Pearson, the Pearson site, is to just click on a homework problem. So if you click actually, I should say like a homework link. In fact, let's go into a view as a student. So, okay, I do have a lot of links. I don't know if all these links should be activated. I should monitor this better. Um, but if you click on assignments, you will see a lot of assignments. And if you were to just click on any one of them, they're all open now, right? Um, let's say I'm going to start right at the beginning, 1.1. I'm having trouble finding that. Okay. If I click on here, it should prompt me to open up Pearson. And I just got in. And you create an account, sign up. They'll ask you, hey, do you want to activate your 14-day trial? Like maybe you don't want to pay right now. You can activate a 2-week trial, and then you can purchase it through them before that trial ends. And that's kind of the way people do it. It is a little pricey, but it's going to be worth it. And once you get that, you'll have access inside Pearson. Now, you could just click on Access Pearson to get to Pearson, and you're going to see the big yellow button, sign in. Once you do, you're in there. Let me go leave this view,
and go back to um, the regular view here. So if I want to check out a homework assignment, well, let me go back in here. Let's say I want to check out 1.1. There's 10 points. So we know the number of points is the number of questions there are. It should open up in a new window all of the homework problems for me to do. And this means I've signed in successfully when that happens. Okay. And then I just do it. Like the first homework assignment only has 10 questions. Okay. It used to be a lot more, but I got student feedback and they realized like, hey, we don't need to do the same problem 5 times in a row with different numbers. Let's trim it down a bit. And I've done that for pretty much most of the questions. And some of the assignments are still pretty large, but the majority of them are about 10 questions or so, which is plenty, enough to do. And then you can also, if you were to go inside those questions, you can do regenerate questions and you can there's going to be resources available. You can open up StatCrunch, ask an instructor, which sends me an email. It might be faster to just message me in Canvas. You can even like copy the problem and just paste it into a Canvas message. But the ask my instructor is fine too. It's actually pretty slick way of doing it. Some videos, some problems will have videos, some won't. You can open up the textbook as well once you have access to Pearson. So Pearson is good. Let's go back into Pearson now from the beginning. Um, there's a lot of resources inside Pearson. So once you click on the yellow button here, you're going to open it up and you're going to see a lot of assignments. Um, there's also something called the Video and Resource Library. There's the classroom notes, which is the same thing that I put in to our Canvas. There's StatCrunch. There's the e-textbook that was promised. I will say that I don't use the gradebook for Pearson. So if you ever see your grade and you're like, oh man, my grade is lower, I go by the one in Canvas. They're not the same. It's just not set up the right way. Maybe I should set them up so that they're the same, but it's just something I've never really done. Canvas is the one that has your official grade. Now, the video and resource library is something that um, has a lot of resources for you. Okay. So let's say we're learning about chapter 1 and 1 point, let's just go with 1.1. I need to see what are all the resources they have for this. I'm going to click everything and just hit 5 now. They might not have everything, but I'm going to check. All right, they have a few things. They have some videos here, and these are different from my videos. Um, the book will open up at 1.1 where you can read it. PowerPoint slides, and these are the same slides that I've already put in to Canvas. So that was good. I think right around maybe chapter 3 is going to have a lot of stuff, right? So we want to talk about the measures of central tendency. So the mean, the median, well, the mean and the median, they're the main measures of center, right? Of a data set. And they both have their pluses and minuses. I mean, the mean is very sensitive to outliers, whereas the median is not. The median gets you to the center when all the numbers are in order. And so, there's a time when, I mean, it's good to calculate them both, but the mean is not as robust depending on the data. But if the variation is small, if all the data is kind of close together, the mean is going to be pretty powerful. It's when we have outliers is when the mean just isn't that reliable. And that's the same reason why in neighborhoods, when they talk about home sales, they give you the median home sale price. They don't even say average. The median sell price, which is the houses that's in the middle. 50% are above, and 50% of all the homes are below. The median is right there. Like maybe in Everett, the median home price might be 600,000. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe, maybe more, maybe less. But that's just an example where they don't really use the average sell price because it's just not going to be very reliable. It's not going to tell us much. Once you get a couple $1 million homes, it is going to skew the data in that direction. But okay, just to check for some resources. I mean, we're going to see some resources there that even has some animations and things of that sort. So this is a good resource for you all to use and take a look at. Um, Inside Canvas, let's see, I mean, Pearson, we have some other things like StatCrunch. So StatCrunch is like a statistical software package. You can go to the website, and the cool thing about it is um, the data that you're using from the problem will automatically open up in it will automatically open up. Let's try to get out of this. It will automatically open up in StatCrunch the data from your problem, so you don't have to do the data entry part. All right. Sometimes when you do the data entry part, like if you have the T84 and you got to put all the data in a list so that you can calculate the average, it's easy to make a mistake, right? Whereas with StatCrunch, you can automatically open up your data in StatCrunch and then it's there. And once you have a data, then you can, you know, like let's say you have a bunch of data, we could do all kinds of things on this data right here. I mean, we can go to stats and calculate well, summary of the column, and I can use var1 as my column and just do everything to it. Boom. I got how many values, the mean, the variance, the standard deviation, the error, the median range, blah, blah, blah. Um, we could do other things. I could create a bar plot, chart, some type of histogram, stem and leaf. Okay, let's see, there's stem and leaf. There it is. That's a stem and the leaf. 34, 34, 34, 43, 54, 54. That summarizes the data. We can even see the distribution of the values. It's like some kind of, there was a bunch in the beginning and then it just kind of fizzles out, like forms like this tail. Like if you were to invert this as a graph or a box plot of some sort. Um, so that's it with StatCrunch and Access Pearson for the most part. It is a place to go to get your assignments. And so you could click on the assignments and get working on them. Okay. Like in 1.2, understanding the differences between an observational study and an experiment. Does the description correspond to an observational study or an experiment? Now, in an experiment, there has to be a controlled type of setup. Um, like this situation has, like if I was reading this, I don't know why my window is so um, determine whether the study depicts an observational study or an experiment. And so in chapter one, we kind of talk a lot. It's a lot of reading in the beginning. 50 patients with lung cancer are divided into two groups. One group receives an experimental drug to fight cancer, the other a placebo. Does anybody know what a placebo is? I know you know. I'm gonna make sure that the due dates are correct as well. That could be a huge problem if I did that. Curtis, how do we submit our homework on Canvas? The submit button was unavailable. You know what? I got to double check my due date. A placebo is a fake pill. It probably will look just like the other drug, but it might have a little bit of sugar or something. I don't know, but a placebo is just a pill that has no effect on you whatsoever. So you're giving it to them. So they might think that they are in this group and they don't even know that they're part of a certain study. But we have a control group, and so this is more indicative of an experiment because I'm gonna see. The study is an experiment because the research control one variable to determine the effect on the other. All right, here we go. Oh man, I don't want to be wrong. Let's hit it. Let's hit it. Yes, look at that. Woo, all green. You see, it's not too bad. You gotta be confident, you, that's a big part. That's actually a big part of it all. Um, so this one is due on the 25th, but if you run across, let me check the other group. Okay. All right. I will look at I will see if you guys are running into any sorts of due date issues, let me know. Oh, 13 people, man, you guys are on it. This is amazing. This is really good. Like there's a lot of people that have already signed in. That's amazing. We got 14 in the other group as well that has already signed in. Oh, whoa, wait. Okay. 1 second. This is I need to fix this ASAP. We're gonna add all these things 365 days from now. All right, let's do okay. So that was okay, hold on. I have so many tabs open now. This is ridiculous. All right, I will just sync the grades. So some of you guys start working on those assignments right away. Um, that's the way to do it. And when I sync the grades, you will have everything will be updated at once. And in the other group as well. So let me make sure that we are all set up. And yeah, guys, thanks for hanging in there. Looks like we were about an hour, went over a couple minutes. Um, I appreciate you guys watching this as well. For those of you in Cyberland, reach out to me anytime you want.